Please do not direct any hate or harassment to anyone who is mentioned in this video. This video is only meant to educate anyone who is unknown to the situation of it. Thank you. I am so sick of this weeny app called TikTok. And more importantly, I'm absolutely done with the art community. And you might be thinking, Skew, what did the art community do now? And I'll say, well, what didn't the art community do now? But harass an artist for putting a watermark on their own artwork. Yeah, let's get into it. Hello you geeks, peeps, and fashionable freaks. It's XU here today, bringing you a fantastic pile of TikTok trash for you to gobble up without expense. You can thank me later. But getting into today's real subject matter, we're going to be talking about someone who has gone into some hot controversy that has flooded my feed. It's none other than Dazt. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Dazt and Dazt's content, but for you that have been out of the loop, Dazt is an artist and content creator who makes art and Roblox editing content, or that's the general style I get out of the content he makes. And his art had been quite popular around TikTok for a while, but the controversy that had led for him to get into some hot water recently had been after he made, well, I guess alteration to the monster faces of the epic face, which were getting pretty popular, and he led on with making his art known to have a lot of watermarking on it, which might have been overdone, fine, but ultimately at the end of the day it was his artwork and he had the right to do whatever he wanted with this. But people didn't really like that, and soon started to send death threats to him for watermarking their own art. Now, I shouldn't have to explain why this is insane, but just for the record, artists of all kind have been watermarking and signing their work for a long time. Most of this is to make sure that the art doesn't get stolen or copyrighted off of, or something worse, which can make the actual owner of the art lose their ownership of it. And this has actually been a huge problem, especially with the digital era. In our Lord and Savior 2024, obviously digital art and digital media is the most prominent type of media, and with that comes its own slippery slopes. There has been a lot of cases of people blatantly ripping off other people's art by tracing or stealing that has been absolutely insane. Like, I can just mention some cases off the top of my mind where people have blatantly traced off of artwork and claimed it as their own. This is why it's so important for artists to put their watermark on their own work so they can protect it from being stolen. And a lot of times artists try their best to incorporate the watermark into their work as much as possible so that it has less chances of being stolen. If you've seen Dazt's artwork, you can see that this is a prime example of him trying to blend the watermark into his work so that people don't steal it. And yet, people have went to such great lengths to erase these watermarks off of his work, and this is literally insanity. Why would you go and take off someone's watermark that has put the watermark on their art to this extent. You're literally just trying to steal his artwork. You can't just erase someone else's watermark off of their artwork because it looks better. That's nothing but an excuse. What you're doing is stealing. Oh my god, please don't watermark your artwork. Boo, I can't steal from you now. That is how y'all be sounding when you post yourself literally unwatermarking Dazt's artwork. Like, I would recommend you go watch Dazt's video in the description because he has responded to these allegations that have been made against him with all of the hate and watermarking. And in word to the actual allegations that have been made against him, he has had some heinous things being said around him all over the internet over this situation. Things like he is a pedophile, like just the most insane stuff. And all of these things are false. They're not true in the slightest. And he acknowledges that in his video. And where these allegations even came from is insane because there's no actual proof for these allegations. It's just so disheartening to see that people are going to such lengths over something as insignificant as an artist just watermarking his own work. All of this hate that he's been getting is so insignificant and awfully pathetic. How much are you going to be on the internet to have to get mad at an artist for just watermarking their work? And I'm saying this so much because of how insane that is. It's like using basic grammar in writing. It's so just normal, and people are making this huge outrage about it. It's like, what is happening? I honestly have no idea how the TikTok art community could lower my expectations of it any further. Like, guys, if you ever encounter an artist or a content creator that you don't like or you don't see as appealing, you don't have to engage with their content. You can just scroll along and have a better day. It's perfectly normal to just not like someone's artwork, especially with how different art styles of different artists can be. They're obviously not gonna be for everybody. Like, there's so much artwork out there that has meaning to it that can only appeal to certain types of people that the artist is trying to appeal to. It's not meant to be for everyone. And Dazt clearly has an approach to their art which they have found they enjoy. And it's not his responsibility to cater his artwork for his audience. His artwork is his own. He can do whatever he wants with it as long as he wishes to do so. You can't force someone to change their art style just because you don't like it. That's not how people work, and that's not how art works. Also, in Dazt's response to all this watermark drama, he's said that the main reason he had even done all of the excessive watermarking was because of people previously stealing his artwork by erasing the watermark that he had put. And he had threatened them by saying, if you guys don't stop stealing my artwork, I'm gonna put a big ol' watermark on it. And that's what he did. And people are still getting mad. Like, honestly, who do you think you are? Like, asking someone to take off their watermark so you can steal their artwork. And the people who are still, after everything, going to such great lengths to erase the watermarks that Dazt has put onto his artwork, those people are just at the brink of insanity. How much do you have to be a keyboard clencher to take away the watermarks that someone has been implementing on their artwork, specifically to not have that artwork be stolen, just to then prove that it can still be stolen? Like, at this point, should artists not even upload their artwork onto the internet? Because it seems like people just find some way to snatch it. It's not normal to be doing something like that, and more or less, it doesn't make a very healthy community in the art community, does it? And on top of this, I've also seen that Dot has mentioned something about him having an ego and how people are giving him grief or hate over this, and I just generally don't understand this. How can someone have an ego over just claiming their own art when people are literally stealing his art? That's not really having an ego, that's called standing up for yourself. And no, claiming your own art back from someone who has literally stolen it is not called having an ego, it's called standing up for yourself. Yes, I know, crazy concept. The situation has gotten so out of hand that he literally had to private his account for some time to get a break from all of this bull that all of you have been loading onto him. I honestly have no idea how the TikTok art community could lower my expectations of it any further than it already is. Like, I don't think that I should be coming onto the internet to preach about how artists have their own unique styles and you don't have to like every artist's work that you come across, but it's come to the point where I have to. Guys, if you encounter an artist or a content creator that you do not like or that you do not see as appealing, you don't have to engage with their content. You can just scroll to the next post and find something you do like. It's okay to not want to view an artist's work, and not every artist is gonna have their work catered for your tasting pleasure. Every artist has a different style and a different way of incorporating their own experiences into their own artwork, and from that alone, it's obviously going to be meant for different types of people. Also, this whole culture around critiquing people's artwork when you don't like it has got to stop. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm sorry, but you're not a masterclass level artist to have to insult everything you see. Like, I'm sorry, but everyone doesn't pop out of the womb drawing like Picasso. And if that's what you expect, I think you need to get a reality check. Artists. Every artist is gonna have a period of time where they're not gonna know what they're doing because they're learning. They're trying to get better. And as I said again, just because their art style is a little bit different from what you may like doesn't mean that their art is horrible and deplorable and
needs to be burned at the stake and never seen by a human again.
It's just not how it is. But aside from that, that's all I have to really say about this whole situation. I'm just glad that there has been people in the art community of TikTok or just in TikTok have been calling out these mockers of dots by mocking them back. I think it's a very telling way to give these people a taste of their own medicine, to say less. Like, just seeing all of these TikToks after I was digging into this controversy was really heartwarming to see that there's some people out there that still have a lick of sense. And to say that there has been people who are informing other people of how horrible and deplorable all this hate that Dazt is really getting is really great. And I say that I think it's time for us to stop being idiots and to start actually caring about the art community's toxic ways, as I think it's gone on for way too long as it is, and it needs to stop. Since this is just insane. These controversies that we've had before over people just having different art styles or just drawing in a different way that other people didn't like was one thing, but this? Someone just doing their normal art and getting death threats over it. It's like mind-boggling. I can't comprehend it. My brain is about to explode. Like, what's going on here? This is worse than someone actually tracing something. And Dots even got accused of tracing the epic face. Like, okay, maybe the designs he did for the epic face were similar to the actual epic face itself, but let's be honest, the epic face is not something that an artist individually has made, it's an emoji. I'm sure that anyone could recreate it if they tried. That doesn't inherently mean that he had traced it. But, anyways, I think that's a fine way to leave off. I'm parched and I'm sick, and I think that I need a break. So I'm gonna go hop on Minecraft, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Witch.